This is the High School Football America podcast for January 31st, 2023. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability. It has faster speed than Huddle Sideline, and GameStrat has awesome customer service along with different plans priced right for every coach's budget. And right now they have an early bird special. Make sure you get in touch with them to see how much you can save on the 2023 season. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com, or you can click on the GameStrat banner ad that's located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. The High School Football America podcast making a stop in Arizona today. We're going to be talking about the upcoming National Football Foundation showcases. And man, do I love these showcases. Began back in 2009 in the Houston area, and we're getting a new one this year. Florida's doing well. Of course, the Houston one's doing well. Southern California, you've seen that on High School Football America in the past with the late, great Terry Donahue. And there's a new one coming to Arizona. Yes, they're gonna do this where the Super Bowl is going to be played on February the 25th. And for those of you that are not familiar with the NFF showcases, these showcases give kids that do not sign Division I scholarships, and of course that's coming up on Wednesday, the opportunity to play at the next level. They bring the kids into one place, and then they bring in divisional coaches from Division II, Division III, NAIA, and put them through the paces. It's free for the participants and for the college recruiters, and at the end of the day, through the years, millions of dollars in scholarships have been handed out, and young men get their opportunity to live out their dream and go from Fridays to playing on Saturdays, and who knows, maybe beyond on that. And we're going to talk about the February 25th event coming up in Arizona, the inaugural one. And Tim Kish, the president of the NFF Southern Arizona chapter, is on the line. 40-plus years as a college football coach. He may know a thing or two about recruiting, and he's here to talk about this great event that's going to take place, like I said, where the Super Bowl is going to be played in 2 weeks. Thanks for taking the time, Coach.
Happy to do it, Jeff, and very excited to have our first state showcase here in Arizona, and blessed to have the acceptance by Mr. Bidwell to allow us to have our showcase out there at Cardinal Stadium here in late February.
Yeah, the Cardinals and all 32 NFL teams doing a great job of digging down into the roots of the game. And I gave a little bit of an overview at the top, and of course this is new to Arizona, and I've been a big proponent of talking about how good Arizona high school football is getting. Over the last decade, it's really, really grown, I believe. And like I said, you have 40-plus years at the college level, but now you're going to do this showcase here and help out seniors, trying to get them to play at the next level. Tell me what got you involved in wanting to do this senior showcase there in Arizona.
Well, it's for me. I'm a fairly new president in one of our chapters, and I started doing some research with the national office and just observing and checking out some of the things that were taking place with other chapters around the country. And the one that caught my eye immediately was the Houston showcase and the number of years that they've been putting it on, and the number of senior athletes that they've been able to help move on and play college football and get an education at the next level. I just was really impressed by what Phil Camp, who was the originator of the showcases, was doing over there in Houston. So I contacted the national office, and I got his contact information. And since I became president in May, it's one of the things our organization felt very strongly about, is if we could pull this off and get this to Arizona, how nice and great of a thing it would be for all the kids in this state that have never had that experience. So that was certainly the way we got started with it, and it's just was a development process from that point on.
And Coach, I mentioned that you've got a long time, in the college ranks, mostly at the Division I level, and of course this showcase and these showcases are to kind of spotlight those kids that, I don't know if fall between the cracks is the right term or not, but give them the opportunity to play on Saturdays. How important is that to you as a guy that's worked at the top level of the game to know that there's a lot of good football being played at D2, D3, and NAIA? So how important is it for you to kind of give back to that section of the game and these types of kids?
Well, every kid's important to us, and so just to give anybody, any of those student athletes an opportunity and to have a chance to go on and play and get that education, like we talked about. It doesn't really matter what level it is. As far as I'm concerned, it's just having a chance, like we said, to get them in front of D2, D3, and NAIA coaches from all over the country. Right now we have 25 plus colleges and universities coming into our showcase, which we're very appreciative of. And these kids deserve a look. I watch these NFL games on Sundays and listen to the guys when they introduce themselves and what colleges they went to, and they're not all Division I colleges. There's a lot of NFL players right now that are Division II, Division III, and some NAIA players that have gone on to play at the highest level. So you never know, and like I said, the most important thing for us was just giving these student athletes in Arizona an opportunity to be seen.
And you should give a shout out. I'm going to tell everybody here listening on iHeartRadio to the podcast or on Apple Podcast. In addition to the story that we're doing with Tim right here, you can go to highschoolfootballamerica.com, and I'm going to post up an interview I did with Coach Camp back, I think it was like 16 or 17, so you can check that out at highschoolfootballamerica.com. The date for the Arizona Showcase is the 25th of February. It's also the same day in South Florida where the 7th Annual Orange Bowl Showcase will be held. On the 11th in Southern California, the 10th Annual Terry Donahue Memorial California Showcase will take place, and the original one, the 15th Annual Houston Texans Senior Showcase, will take place on February the 4th. So like you said, Tim, you're new to this. Anything you're new at, right? You spend a little extra time. You don't have to worry about gardening anymore since you got that out of the way. What are some of the biggest things you had to do to get this thing together?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, it just took a while to climb the corporate ladder there with the Cardinals to get permission to use the facility. So honestly, it didn't happen until over the holidays, and then we had already projected the February 25th date as a possibility for our event. So it was there's a little bit of scramble mode going on, but the reception's been phenomenal from the Arizona head high school coaches and volunteer coaches that are going to help us with the event itself, and then just making sure that we got the word out to the colleges and universities to plan on coming out here and spending some time with us that particular weekend. So I've been on the phone a lot, but a lot of it is emails, and every second of it is it's worthwhile, because at the end of the day that you're going to have a chance to make a difference in these young men's lives. So that's the most important thing for us.
Sure, and I'm even though you're here talking with us and you're the president of the Southern Arizona chapter of the NFF, it's not just you. You've got some people there, and I know some of the people of the NFF at the national level told me you got some good people working there with you. So I just want to give you the opportunity to kind of talk about those men that are helping you bring this together for February 25th.
Yeah, men and women. Actually, Jeff, I have a very strong board. It's an exceptional board as far as I'm concerned of people pitching in. I've got a young lady that's one of our board members. That's our external communications director, and she does a phenomenal job with the media. We're on Facebook. Our website is always giving updates to what we have going on, especially now this showcase event. Instagram, Twitter, you name it. She's pounding the pavement, getting information out to the high school seniors and coaches and college coaches as well. Frank Bush is our board member that is actually in charge of this with me. He was a longtime Olympic swim coach, but loves football. And I did some serious recruiting to get him on board with us, and he's been exceptional in this whole opportunity. We have Jay Schroeder, eight-year veteran of the NFL quarterback, that's going to come down and be our offensive coordinator for this event. Mike Hankwitz, 50-plus years in college coaching and now retired in Tucson, also a board member, is going to be our defensive coordinator for this event. And then just exceptional people that across the board for us, just helping us getting things organized. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. We have a Friday night social before the event on Saturday. We block hotel rooms for the college coaches that are coming into town. We have to order T-shirts and name tags and just about everything you can think of to run an event to get it going. But I will say this, other than my board, the Arizona head high school coaches have been phenomenal in supporting our cause and getting their players to sign up in the registration link. And we couldn't be more grateful to them for all their help.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've been to the Southern California event. It takes a village, literally a village, and then a few more people on top of that to make it work. The inaugural Arizona Senior Showcase will be held February 25th at State Farm Stadium, home of the Arizona Cardinals, coming up, and that's going to be a big deal for the players. Aside from the everybody getting the opportunity to turn around and look at what it's like to be on the field of a NFL stadium, on the field there at an NFL stadium. Why don't you explain to us, if we've got some of the student athletes out there listening, what can the student athletes expect when they show up for this inaugural showcase?
Yeah, well, we do a little bit of testing so that the college coaches can get an idea. Mostly it's change of direction and those type of drills. We'll time some 40s. We'll do a 5-10-5 and a 3-cone drill similar to what the NFL Combine does. And then we'll get off into position group work and do some one-on-ones and possibly some 7-on-7 depending on time at the end of the event. But it'll give everybody an idea of, the athleticism of these guys moving forward. A lot of the coaches have already watched the kids on Huddle, so they have an idea of, who they're looking at possibly coming here ahead of time. But more often than not, it's really just the observation of the kids that particular day. And with the information that they have on their academic prowess, there are requirements for each kid that's signing up. He has to have a 2.5 GPA. No longer are the SAT and ACT tests required at this event. They will be a year from now, but COVID restricted that or eliminated that for a couple years. And so it's a good situation. The coaches know they're getting some high academic kids, which is what those levels look for a lot, at least at Division III and NAIA levels. And so I think it's a good mix for everybody, and we're just excited to be able to present that to the Arizona seniors.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. The 25th of February, the inaugural Arizona Senior Showcase, put on by the National Football Foundation, otherwise known as the NFF, if you've never heard of it. If you've heard of the College Football Hall of Fame, well, that's those people there. Tim Kish on the line, 40-plus years as a college football coach. He said he did start out at the high school level there for a couple of years, last job at Oklahoma. And I think this is a pretty fair question, even though you weren't dabbling in 2, 3, and NAIA. The recruiting game has changed. I think that's probably fair to say over the last 4 decades or so. What are some of the advice that you would give young men that aren't going to play at that upper level? The best way to go about, obviously the showcase is one way, but how to get yourself exposed to these other levels that can get you to play on a Saturday.
Yeah, it's certainly changed even since I've retired a few years ago. I mean, obviously with the transfer portal and NIL and those things at the D1 level, it's kind of put a pause on the lower levels, getting an opportunity to see who's available at that point. But you know what? Regardless of that. For these kids at that level, the best they can do is just be diligent with their academic situation at each high school, and continue to work out. And you never know when the opportunity might present itself. I think because of the fact that what we have going on with this transfer portal, it's just a delayed response for colleges and universities to see what's available there at that level. And it usually goes into the late winter and early spring for them. Obviously, with the signing day on Wednesday, that will pretty much give an indication of who's signed and who's not. And hopefully it will give a lot of student athletes an opportunity that didn't get signed at our event, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, we're talking with Tim Kish, the president of the National Football Foundation's Southern Arizona chapter, and I think I can use that as a segue into this for the listeners out there. Yes, there's the upper level, there's the College Football Hall of Fame, but the grunt work, the good stuff, those scholarships for high school athletes and all that all the chapters do in that come into play. And I would love for you to take a moment or two to talk about your chapter. And obviously this is a key component of it, but some of the things that you do away from this event to make high school football in that area out there in Southern Arizona vibrant and keep growing it.
Well, we certainly love recognizing seniors under our umbrella. We have 45 schools that we are responsible for in our chapter. Basically everything from Phoenix North, that is with another chapter, the Valley of the Sun. But it gives us an opportunity to recognize senior student athletes in our region and for their academic success, their athletic success, and their community support. And we acknowledge every nominee for our chapter, and then we award some financial assistance to those young student athletes here in our region every spring. We had our first female recipient, a kicker from Canyon del Oro High School.
Cool.
One of our awards last year, which was very exciting for us. And, we look forward to promoting that Scholar Athlete event every year and get a lot of support from the community with that. So that's very important to us.
Yeah, and I recommend anyone listening, if you're not involved with your local chapter, find out about it and get involved. I think we're up around, coming up on 90 or so around the nation, but National Football Foundation does a great job. The inaugural Arizona Senior Showcase coming up February 25th at State Farm Stadium, home of the Arizona Cardinals. You've kind of talked a little bit about the association with the Cardinals, and one of the things that I like to talk about is, as we try to grow this great game and keep it safer and all that, the NFL is reaching down more and more into the roots of the game, high school and youth, and of course flag and all that. And I was just wondering what it means to you as a former coach, to know that the top level of the game is reaching down to help out, to make sure this game remains vibrant.
Well, I think the NFL is doing a tremendous job. Again, our hats off for our local team, the Cardinals, to get involved with us and giving us an opportunity to be on their property for this event. One of the things that you tie into with the NFL is, and you mentioned this already, Jeff, the youth football, and our hashtag for our organization is helmet on, helmet off. And what we mean by that is that we want to help all football players from the first time they put a helmet on until the last time they take their helmet off. And so we got involved here locally in our community in the greater Tucson area with all the youth football organizations, 6,000 strong. We also are affiliated with the cheer squads that participate with those football teams. And that was very important to us. We also tied in with the Arizona Bowl, our local bowl game here in Tucson, and do a Friday Night Lights all over greater Tucson. And we have a presence at those games. And then we recognize 2 players of the game, one from each team at the end of the game, which we think is very, very important. And then do a lot of community outreach events with the U of A football players. So it's one of our board members and one of the U of A football players that will go to local high schools and meet with the football teams and talk about our Scholar Athlete Award, and then U of A football player discussing how he went about getting a Division I scholarship. So it crosses the gamut for us. It's got to start at the beginning of the football career, and we don't want it to end until the end of it. So the NFL tying in those same capacities. I know they do a lot with youth football up at the Cardinal organization. They definitely are involved in the high schools locally there in the Phoenix area. And obviously we're all just trying to do the same thing, giving kids opportunities and helping them develop qualities of leadership and sportsmanship and developing academic excellence, I think is, all part of the National Football Foundation creed.
That's right. Just like helmet on, helmet off, it's on and off the field, too, making sure we get those well-rounded student-athletes out there. Tim Kish on the line with us as we wrap up here on the High School Football America podcast. The inaugural Arizona Senior Showcase coming up the 25th of February, just a couple of weeks after the Super Bowl is played in that great stadium. And, we talked about everything here, Coach, except for one thing, which is how the kids get involved. You mentioned that there is a minimum GPA, but if someone out there is listening, whether it's a parent or a student athlete, how do they get to be able to attend the event on the 25th?
Well, we have an announcement and a registration link on our website. It is the nffsoaz.org, and you can go on that. Just click that link. It'll pull you right up to the announcement with the information we have about the event, and then everybody can register right there on that link. And things are going very well in that regard. We certainly would welcome anybody that's listening to this podcast to jump in and register. So that's the best way to get a hold of us, and best way to get involved in this event is just getting yourself registered on that link.
And if you're not listening on highschoolfootballamerica.com, whether it's iHeartRadio or the Apple Podcast, make sure you go to highschoolfootballamerica.com. We will put up a link there so you can get registered to help out and make this a very, very successful event. And that's going to be my last question for you there, Coach. I said Arizona football, high school football is getting better and better. What makes this first event? Because, all coaches work with goals. What makes year one a very successful event for the Arizona Senior Showcase?
Well, I'll be honest with you. The joy for all of us that are involved in the game is just going to be seeing those senior athletes coming to get signed in and prepare themselves for warm up and get out there and have an opportunity to get out in the field and show their wares. To me, just having one young man get a scholarship offer from one of these schools, I know that's going to mean a lot to all of us that are helping. We hope it's many, many more, but in our first showcase, we're very excited to again, just to promote the opportunity, and we're excited to see how this plays out this coming February 25th. And hopefully we'll make this an annual event from here on out.
I have no doubt. Where there's a will, there's a way, and it will happen. Tim, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. I know you're busy. I know what it takes to pull off an event of this size, so I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, and thank you very much, and look forward to hearing how everything turns out, and we look forward to helping you promote it through the years.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. We're very appreciative of you having us on today, and we look forward to a very special day up here in Phoenix, Arizona on the 25th of February.
And that's the High School Football America podcast, brought to you by NFL Play Football. Hey coaches, don't forget to check out playfootball.nfl.com for some great resources to help you improve in the coaching profession. I'm Jeff Fisher, and you've been listening to the High School Football America podcast.